current bill that came out in July, I think, came in as we were finalizing the report. Now, I think I don't want us to lose this point that the issues whether the HMI would remain relevant after NHI has come on board is one that we grappled with and took a lot of our time towards the end, where we were explaining that it's not just that it would be nice to have or that they are not related. And actually, even slightly counter to Prof. Bush's point, where he says you actually need, the private sector needs the HMI report more than anything. Our view, we had pains to explain that actually the NHI needs the HMI report implemented. And if only to help the NHI hit the ground running, because one of the biggest points that we made is that the supply side of healthcare is not regulated at all. Many of you may not know that the only regulation with a practitioner is really the license or the certificate that you have qualified, now go and practice. That's it. From the hospital side, it's really about that the hospital is structurally sound and safe to admit. Beyond that, there is no regulation. Now, as human beings, we respond to incentives. And there are no incentives that guide what should be done in the interest of the patient. And now, this is why we say it's not a question of either, whether you implement the HMI report or the NHI. Because purely, if you are to have, maybe the HMI report would be irrelevant if the NHI or the post-NHI period would come with the abolishment of the private sector. And it doesn't. And if you don't deal with the issues that we identify there, the NHI will come in an era and negotiate with practitioners where there are no prices in place, as it is now. We come out with 3 different ways that prices should be set in the private sector. And the fact that right now there's no price regulation, or rather tariff setting, because regulation is a bit too strong, because we want the industry to negotiate among itself within competition guidelines. We know that part of the drivers of market failures is the fact that pricing is not at all set. And it's impossible to have all practitioners negotiate with all medical schemes. So there is a process that has to happen. Now, if the NHI were to come and as well into an environment where hospitals are really as they are now, it wouldn't work. Life owns the Eastern Cape. Mediclinic owns Limpopo, Western Cape, Northern Cape. Netcare is strong in KZN and Gauteng. Now, the government would have no hope in hand of getting quality of service or good pricing if it walked into the situation that we have now. And this is why we have defended the question whether we need another regulator, because even mature national health systems like the UK have a supply side regulator, because you understand what will happen. So we have gone to great lengths to defend the issue of needing to establish a supply side regulator.